So episode 5 was called Feel Her Love, and it started off super somber and really dark because,
Yep.
like you said, right before everything started recording, they're finally introducing the spores. And
Yes.
it's in the air. Apparently, there is I think her name's like Elise or something like that was the Asian chick's name that was the
Mm.
guard for the hospital. And I guess she sent her son, Leon, in like a team of them, and Leon's I guess was like her best guy that she had.
Right.
Sent them in there, and there was like no infected throughout the whole hospital, but they got in there and realized, oh shit, it's in the air, but they don't know how or like the extent of like what that is from what it seemed like. And to start that off, I mean, I think the actress, I'm pretty sure, is a big actress from the Hannibal series. She played like one of like the main detectives. So I just wanted to give a shout out to her because I thought that was kind of really cool seeing her back for something.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. I know nothing about the spores. I know from what I do know is a lot of people were kind of miffed that they weren't in season 1 because I guess in the first game, like it's a huge point.
Right. And that's where I wasn't sure with, watching season 1 with Kyle and having him, like I said, go through the games. I kind of vaguely remembered that stuff. And then him talking about it, I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that point and then how they were going to do it. But I think one of the main things I wanted to touch on before we got any further was just how beautiful this series looks as far as a adaptation from a game to a show. They do a really good job at making it look not cartoonish, but you still have that almost like video game look to a point. And I really enjoyed that. So I wanted to get that out there at least, though. But it's beautiful.
No, dude, for fucking sure, man. Like you can see kind of, and I know what you mean. Like you can kind of see where like things are really practical. Like you can see like trash on the ground, some fake moss kind of like overtaking certain like structures, vehicles, all that shit. But then if you look like far in the distance, you can kind of see, if you like really look, you can kind of see where the blue screen starts for like the background and like the smoky buildings.
Right.
As you're walking or as you're watching it, you're looking and being like, oh, that door's not usable. This is the path I take. You can tell like there's a certain way to go before they go that way.
Right. And I also really enjoyed the fact of kind of that like dusty look when you would get like when you get the like sunlight or something. That's how Kyle knew which way to go in the games and things like that. So like you were saying, Winchester, where it's like, dude, that's cool how they kind of give those callbacks and or like nods to the game. But as far as this season and episode, how are you guys feeling with like how the story is progressing and like how fast it is?
So we actually kind of touched on that in one of like the previous episodes of the pod where I was like, episode 1 felt super packed and I wouldn't say rushed, but it felt like a lot was going on. It was kind of hard to talk about episode 1 because it was all over the fucking place.
And it wasn't action packed. It was more storytelling.
We were world building. Like we got these new characters, we got the new setting, we have a time jump. We don't know what happened in between then. It's been 5 years. It opened with Abby. So like we're, introducing the big bad that we all know from the games for anybody that's played them. Like it was very world building. But once episode 2 dropped and it got to Joel's death, I thought they were going to leave that for like the finale and like stretch it out and like
I was wondering too. Yeah, I was wondering too because of like how we were already pacing, like you said at the beginning, we're like the world building. So yeah, okay, wasn't just me.
Like I was not expecting them to kill him off in episode 2.
That brought the shock factor for sure.
I was kind of taken off guard by that because I'm like, I know he was only on set for 2 weeks. So I knew he was going to be going a little earlier. I was like, maybe episode 4. But episode 2, he went out. But at the same time, we'll obviously get to how the episode ended and we have more with him.
Right.
But I am actually enjoying it heavily pace-wise. I actually know somebody personally who's actually going to be on the show next week.
Okay.
Who is a huge fan of the games, huge fan of season 1, but finds season 2 to be boring as fuck. Like,
really?
He liked episode 1 and 2. He loved episode 1 and 2. He thinks it's getting really boring. Like he loves some of the things that they've added. He hates some of the things that they've added, but he's like, he can't connect to it in like he did with season 1, if
Well,
that
I
makes any
think
sense.
I have the same issue. I was so into season. I think a big part is like losing Pedro Pascal probably is a big part for a lot of people. That it's like
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
that was my intro. Same as when Rick left or Carl left Walking Dead. Everyone's like, okay, that's kind of where the show ended.
Right.
It's hard to keep my interest now with him gone. But at the end
Yeah.
of this episode, it's like, oh, okay, maybe we'll still see him a few more times.
Right.
It's
But
different.
you know, like Kyle and I were talking when like the game and stuff came out, and it's really interesting with the I guess the differences in people, how for liking the game and stuff like that, how it took with, you know, Joel and everything. Kyle made a good point. He's like, this isn't Joel's journey, this is Ellie's journey now. This isn't necessarily about Joel and what we had. And I was like, dude, that's, oh man, I never thought of it like that. This doesn't mean it's his journey the entire time.
Yeah.
So that put a perspective for me. And then now you almost kind of have to shift those gears and go, there is no more Joel.
Mm-hmm.
He prepared her basically for a scenario like this. Like, what do you do when I'm gone?
It's like if you think of like Marvel, Spider-Man has his own, but Avengers, it's not just Spider-Man, it's another character, and it's all different superheroes. So it's kind of the same thing. It's her own book now.
Exactly.
In a weird way, it almost like feels like it was always Ellie's story, where Joel was just a driving force in like the whole perspective of things.
Okay.
I think the whole main character shift is gonna be a lot for some people. Like to again lose Pedro. Now we're in Ellie and Abby's story, you know, with season 2, and now that it's, you know, starting to come to a close. I think season 2 is the slowest because not only are people gonna kind of fall off, we're gonna see where the real fans of the show lie, and the games. Because, you know, with Joel gone, we're giving a season to kind of really reel in from that, establish Ellie as a main. Season 3, I think, is going to be Abby's arc, where we're going to see a lot of Abby, very minimal of Bella Ramsey. We're going to see Bella Ramsey, obviously. Maybe even a little bit of Pedro in there, too, because I think he's coming back for season 3 for like a couple like flashback scenes and nightmare scenes, dream sequences. But I think the shift and kind of digesting that, putting Ellie on her path of gruesome brutality that's going to be coming up. We already saw a snippet of it at the end of this episode. So I'm really excited to talk about all that. But I think when it comes to the pacing, man, I'm really enjoying it. I fucking love this show.
Yeah, I think it does a good job at kind of like how it falls in the category for you both, is that I told Kyle that this show does a good job. If you have never played the game, you've never seen an episode or anything like that or I mean a preview for the game, you can still follow this very well.
Yeah.
That it's I think one of the few that can do that. Not everything, they switch too much around when they do a lot of adaptations and things like that. Precisely. So like, yeah, you almost get a different story. So this one's cool. So
season 1 I played the game, season 2 I didn't, and they both feel the same. Like there's obviously differences, but season 2 I think's keeping me in it because I didn't play the game, so I don't know like I know a couple spoilers, but I don't know the whole story. Season 1 the whole story, so I was like, it's good, I like it, but it felt different.
With you doing it that way, with how we're talking about this pacing, are you still comfortable with how you're flowing from the game and then to this into season 2, the actual show?
Yeah, it's definitely not too slow. You have slower episodes, but that makes sense with the story.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it would have hurt if I played the game because I'm expecting things, and if they change them, I think I'd be like, that's kind of dumb. I think it would hurt more if I knew what was happening.
Okay.
I think that's what happened with Chandler, who's going to be on the next episode. He played the games, and I think he was one of the people that were very hurt by what happened. And like I said, you know, going into, you know, a game that already kind of left a really bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, going into the show, it's like I can kind of understand where it's hard for him to grasp. But I think being one of the people that hasn't played the games, we are at an advantage to enjoy it the way it is, you know. So we have no bias in a way, you know, like we have nothing to deter it except for a shitty story. But I completely disagree. I think it's a great story.
Yeah, I think another benefit we have is after this season's over and the story for game 2's over, if we went and played the second game, we would like it a lot more than someone who played it before the show. The show ruined the game for them, but it's just gonna, you know what you're playing for. You already know what's gonna happen when you play the game. So it's not as disappointing.
That's actually really true. And like, you know, that's something that I have toyed with doing, whether it was online or not. Was Kyle told me, he's like, dude, you need to play these games yourself at least once. He's like, even put it on the easiest setting. No, I've never played either. Like, even just put it on the easiest setting and just cruise through it, just experience it once. I'm like, all right, man, all right, you talked me into it, so I want to.
It's like fun. You get like you're in it. You're like so focused. You don't know what's going on around you because you're so in the zone with the game.
Yeah, that's how it was for God of War.
Nights. Really? Yeah, God of War too.
God of War, I spent 14 hours in one setting, and I had no idea it had even been that long because I was just so fucking locked in, bro. Like I was just locked
dude.
in.
I was like that with Outer Wilds, which is like an unknown, not a big game, but I was just I had COVID when it first happened. Like when COVID first came, I got it right away. All 7, I think it was like 7 to 12 days. I played this one game, Outer Wilds, the whole time and beat the game. And I was like, my God, I don't know if it's because I just like I was stuck in a basement that I love this game, or it's actually
dude. Right.
But it's a good memory.
That's what I would do with Doom when COVID hit. He was home for 2 weeks and he fucking completed. I was like, you son of a bitch. So,
COVID's got its benefits.
That's what I'm scared about for like future adaptations, because God of War got greenlit for Amazon Prime, which is fucking phenomenal, but I'm scared because I love God of War now, and I'm like, dude, and it's going in the Norse era, so like I hope it translates as well as The Last of Us is.
I kind of want Triple H to
I don't. I know.
I
fucking don't. I would rather Jason Momoa before I even decided.
It's gonna be Jack Black, bro. He said
Jason Momoa already said he would be more than willing to play to Kratos, dude. He'd be fucking killer.
Jack Black.
Imagine, I am Kratos.
Could you imagine if Jack Black just came out and was like, "Ooh," like all buff?
They don't even attempt to make him look like him. It's just Jack Black.
And Atreus isn't even fucking Atreus. It's just fucking cables.
It's an old
just
man.
Fucking Gables, bro. It's just fucking Tenacious D, bro. But no, but when it comes to the story though, Ellie and Dina's story starting from the fucking theater was actually solid as fuck. Like I didn't realize how smart Dina was, and I didn't even know what triangulating was. I had no idea what the fuck that was.
Right. And that's where, so again, with me not playing the games and only catching what Kyle, so I'm almost still kind of at a disadvantage of like not playing it and like knowing all the stories. So that's the thing, is I've got big gaps in remembering and or knowing what happens. I didn't realize she was pregnant. Like I forgot that. And when they sat there and she was like, what do you want me to do? If you tell me to go back, I'll go back. And I'm like, bitch, the answers go back. Like, that's easy. And she said, let's go. And I'm like, this motherfucker.
You know what aggravated me more than that? When she said we run first, then we shoot, and Ellie immediately pulls her gun out and just starts shooting at everybody. I'm like, she called you out and you proved her right.
Exactly. And the fact that when she also got called out, she was like, we were fine. And he was like, until you weren't.
Yeah.
Basically. And it's like, dude, he has her because Ellie is good. She's not ready.
Yeah.
Oh no. But she's like me, dude. She's too thick-headed and she thinks she knows everything.
I'll get it done.
I can get it done. But it's the fact of that also gets you in trouble, because how many times now has she been bit? Now I know one.
Like
I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying in general. But like I know the one was to sacrifice to help. But I'm saying in general, how many times has she been bit? And it's like, Ellie, you've got to realize that if you were anybody else, you would have been dead long ago.
Oh yeah.
So that is your one and only plot armor. Basically, is that you can't get it. That does not mean you're good at fighting.
Yeah, and like
or strategic.
The last time I was
strategical.
You got it. Strategic, you got it. The last time I was on her, I even said the problem with Ellie right now is she's so into the fact that she can't get infected. You could still die. They can still
get shot in the fucking head.
That too, yeah.
Get ripped apart. You can that just
like if Jesse wasn't there, she's dead.
Yeah. it's the fact of it's that one thing she's really only quote immune to, right? So like that's what's wild, and she doesn't think about that. And now she's now actively putting technically 2 other people at risk. So that did kind of bother me. I'm not going to lie. Upset me pretty bad last night.
So this podcast is a pretty spoiler talk podcast. Like, we don't hold anything back unless you tell us not to. So you realize when someone decides that they can big dick it and know everything and go in and all these people want to fucking help them, you know what happens to those people, right? Either some get hurt, some die. I will say along the way, some die.
Yep.
I don't know if you know who I'm referring to or the manner it happens.
I think,
but are you cool with hearing it for the advantage of?
Yeah, go ahead.
There is a scene out of nowhere where Jesse bites the bullet and gets shot in the back of the fucking head. And
okay. I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember if that happened or not. Like if he was gone or not.
Tommy gets shot in the back of the head too by I think Abby. I think Abby shoots him in the back of the head and he bites a bullet. Doesn't die though. Does not die. And like there's a time jump. And he's walking around talking like nothing even fucking happened. I'm like, dude, dude, how the fuck?
In the game, when Joel dies, Dina's not there. Tommy's there.
Tommy.
That's what it was. I remember it was Kyle or somebody talking about they were like, interesting, this person's there instead. And I couldn't remember who the switch up was.
Yeah, it was Dina and Tommy.
Okay.
Tommy got knocked out by a gun barrel or a gun handle. And he was out cold through the whole thing. But the switch up with Dina was nice because it added more purpose for her to be on the journey with Ellie, other than the fact that I love you. Like I love you, but I also love Joel.
I'm actually just realizing Abby kind of says it. She says, if you don't put her out, I'm going to bash her in the face. She's pretty much saying, I'm going to do what they did to Tommy in the game.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. That's true. Okay. Good catch.
Yeah, like the whole fucking remix, like that's one of like the one things that they switched up I was actually super happy about in a way, because like it adds more, like I wasn't even fucking there for Joel, so there gives more motive for Tommy rather than him just kind of being knocked out, not being able to do anything. I feel like it served more of a purpose for Dina's arc, because it gives her an actual reason to go out with Ellie other than like, I'll follow you anywhere. Like it's it's good to have that. So it didn't surprise me when Dina decided to go with Ellie regardless, because she wanted to go, like regardless if Ellie was like, yeah, go home or not, she was gonna go. Hearing that story about when the first person she killed, it was inevitable. So like the motives and the purpose that they're giving Dina in the show, I'm really with. It's adding so much like substance to that particular arc. Which is going to make a lot of what's about to happen so much harder.
And if you think about right now, Dina and Jesse are together, and he doesn't know about the baby, which that kind of rubbed me the wrong way last episode, where she said, I'm going to be a dad. You immediately assume Jesse's a deadbeat and he's gone. You're not going to tell him. Come on.
I was kind of okay, and I wasn't saying, but I was just like, wait, no, hold on a second.
Jesse's not dead. Yet.
But the situation at hand, I still thought was at least cool. Where like it did hit Ellie. She was like, "Oh shit! Like I'm gonna be a parent. Like I'm gonna be a part of this kid." So like I would that whole wave hit her.
Yeah, 100%. When it came to the stalkers and that whole
which are terrifying
fucking scene, dude, the stalkers are probably like the most terrifying thing, because like a bloater you can see coming from a million miles away. There's a million things you can do to fucking get away from that, dude. Like clickers, you just gotta shut the fuck up. Like you just gotta shut the fuck up. They're blind. Stalkers are like an in-between. Like they're smart. They vocalize. They literally stalk you. They are fast as fuck and they are quiet. And not only did we get hit with one, we got hit with like 12, 13.
Was did that happen in the game? Do you guys know if that scene actually happened? Sure. Okay,
I'm assuming something along the lines.
It had to have, but it was just the fact of what got me was I don't know if were they actually saved like that in the game, and are they really that strong? Because it's not that the infected aren't strong and or fast, but goddamn, they were ripping the cage apart, multiple of them at a time.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like the weight of them because there was so many, like the one scene when it
They
was
were just yanking
the,
it off.
what was it? The fence was coming down on the bus or whatever. This was them being just physically strong as well.
Yeah.
That was terrifying.
Plus, a few of them looked like it took a couple shots.
Yeah.
Like you shoot them, they just kept going.
It's terrifying because it's like you almost think that there's still enough of that human side in them that can kind of like
reason.
They can reason, they can plan, they can
Yeah.
kind of process everything that's going on, and because of the virus, they're almost superhuman. So their strength level, they don't feel anything, so they can just keep fucking pulling.
Yeah.
Can
So
I jump ahead for a
terrifying.
second? This leans into what you're saying. Did you guys notice when Ellie and I forgot her name were down there? They were breathing. The ones on the wall, they were physically breathing. You
Yeah.
could see the clouds coming out of their mouth.
Oh yeah. That was cool. See, I don't know how they had the how it was airborne in the actual game. I don't remember that because I don't know, was it the fact that it was the infected breathing, or was it just because it was basically dust particles from them?
So the spores are a type of infected that are kind of like glued to the main part and the sprouting part of the cordyceps.
Yeah.
That are locked in a constant torturous state that cannot bite you, that are still basically almost human. Like they still have kind of like their motor function still there, and they can kind of still see what's happening. They can't eat, they can't bite, but because they're connected to like the main thing, they're breathing all of it out, and they're just in pain constantly.
Giving you that hock to it.
Hock to it. Yeah, dude.
Okay, so that's how it's okay. I got you now.
That's how it's in the air. It's breathing through them. So every time they breathe in air, they fucking pollute it with all of the toxin from like the base of the cordyceps. So even if you breathe it in, it's a torturous slow death. I'm assuming that Tati Gabrielle, who played Nora, again, phenomenal fucking actress, she is going to become a spore. I think she's going to end up as one of like the things that like once she leans up against the wall, it's going to grow out of her, and she's going to spread onto that back wall likely, and it's gonna, unless obviously she dies real quick from Ellie. But I think that that's how it's going to go about, is I think she's going to turn into one of them, and she's going to be locked down there, unless Ash made a really good point the other night. I'm like, dude, she was like, dude, what if Ellie just took her and just dragged her the fuck up there and just let her loose on them? Like, that would be fucking wild.
Yeah, but how are you gonna get her up the elevator shaft?
So just fucking grab her and start fucking climbing, dude.
Damn.
So I want to talk about, I'm gonna skip through the story a little bit. We can go back. I don't give a shit.
That's fine.
I want to talk about the money shot where Ellie was down there and she saw the spores, and you can see that nothing's happening to her. She's infected, so she doesn't react to it. The money shot when she walked in there and she's like, "You're stupid bitch, you killed both of us." And she's like, Did I? I was just like,
with the red,
and then the red fucking light, she's just like kind of peeking out of the shadows, and she just has that menacing, just tunnel vision stare at her, dude.
It almost had kind of like a portraited, like blurred background with it.
Yeah,
the main focus.
And she's just like, she almost had a superpower in that moment where she could literally drag everybody down there with her, and she's fine. If she could adapt the same movements as the stalkers, she could fucking hide and just slit their fucking throats as they're dying, bro.
Absolutely.
That is her playground. And I was in awe by the whole fucking scene where she was standing over her, and just like, you see all of these particles and just fucking Nora just dying basically. And she's just chilling, just talking to her like, where's Abby? Just like, you're fucked now. You have no reason to just, you know, not tell me. You're going to die.
That scene, I'm not going to lie, man. I mean, I kept my eyes open, but
they got a little bit of this.
When she picked up that pipe, I was like, oh,
I thought they might show something.
Dude, the noises, she was fucking pissed.
And if I know somewhat from the games, that's not her worst kill coming up either.
Oh,
it gets so much worse each time.
It gets darker. That kill makes her start to kind of rethink everything she's doing. Like, she realizes, oh, maybe I'm a
the bad guy.
Shit. Like, am I the bad guy? Like, she questions everything she's doing at this point because of this one kill.
You're already here.
Bro.
You're already here. Just keep going, because what's going to happen? You're either going to keep going and succeed, or if you think about it and stop, you're going to die. because now you've almost got this, like, you have to have this psychotic killer mental instinct, because if you stop, you are going to die. There's so many more of them than me. And I think that's going to be what trucks her through, because again, I don't remember everything all the way through, but this hatred she has right now at the end of this episode is what's going to carry her through hardcore.
Oh, absolutely.
The beginning of the episode, it seemed like she kind of was somewhat okay, and as soon as she picked up that guitar and started singing again, she kind of snapped back into it.
Yep. It would, because she only sang like one line or something.
Like, if you ever leave me or something like
that. If I ever lose you or something like that.
If I ever lose you. And she put it down and stood up and was like, I gotta go. Like, into
it's like every time she taps into those moments of the happy moments with Joel, which was with the guitar and singing, it's like she forgets her purpose entirely. And it's like she's almost okay with walking away from it, because, like, now she's gonna be a parent. Dina's, a huge part of her life. Like, it's like, do I really need to keep going in that one moment? But the moment Dina comes in and says, I got it, she's like, snaps right back into it. It's like, all right, now we got to go. Like, it's fucking wild.
My question is, sure, Ellie is immune to the airborne part of it, but it could still be in her system. Can she go back and be breathing this out into people who are not immune?
I wouldn't think so, because I wondered that sort of. I would think that if it can't live in her bloodstream, somehow, some way, her lungs would filter it coming out. I don't know. I don't know. But I sort of kind of had the same question about that. I also asked Kyle to see if you guys know or have an explanation. We know that when there are infected, like, miles and miles and miles away, but you have some of this rooted ground and things, and if you move or disturb it, it can take them from however many miles away. When they were out camping in the woods and it started to rain, I thought, how come rain doesn't attract them in spots where it's been pouring rain to, like, come herd? Because it's pouring ass rain and making noise, hitting the ground. And Kyle said, that's a really good question. I'm like, is it just a plot hole that they didn't think about, or is there like an actual reason?
I think it's a horticulture reason. I think because water helps the cordyceps grow, because like anything else, it's a fungus. So, like, it needs some kind of hydration to thrive, or it dries out. So I would think that the water is kind of like a benefit to the cordyceps. Like, I think if anything, it acts as like nature.
Okay, even though it's making like the noise and like the vibrations. Okay,
it's like a natural thing.
Yeah, also, when they're with them moving around on the same ground, like footsteps and stuff, you could kick one thing and it sets them all off. But a whole rainstorm doesn't do dick. So that actually makes sense.
Ellie's in a basement with this girl walking all over it, so there must be a horde or something coming to that building at some point.
See, that is also the thing too, is how come they all don't have that connection or like whatever, as far as like, I don't know, because I don't remember the entire storyline.
Same. I think when it comes to like those things, I think it has to be connected in like a certain cordyceps sprout. Like, I feel like so you see like the background of the backdrop for the pod.
Yeah.
You see how it's like viney and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they're rooted to certain specific areas. So like if there's one sprout like super southeast, it's not connected to the same thing. It's connected to a completely different cordyceps, kind of.
I wondered if they could, or if they should have, or been, or whatever, where it's like they all kind of are adapted together. But okay.
I wonder if some, like the ones in the basement, are more like a mold that's like on its own.
Yes.
And a separate kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's its own, like it was, from what I remember, from what I think what they were talking about, I think it was like one of the, either the doctors or one of the guards or somebody was talking about, no, it was Elise, I think, the first a couple of like the first known cordyceps like patients were brought down there from 03, and I think it spread from there, from what they were saying. Like, that's why it's so gunked up and like super caked on there, because that's like 20 years old, and then add on top of the people that ended up having to get locked in there.
Which you did see her son when they were in there.
Dude, that was so fucking sad.
He was the one on the ground, the second one breathing. That was her son.
Yeah, the one that Ellie saw breathing up at her was her son. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep, that was her son in I think it was like 2B, the ward was called.
Yeah,
2B.
I believe so. Now, did Nora see, here's my thing is that with her trying to jump across, did she realize where she was going and like that she was gonna die? Because I couldn't tell if she was just like fight or flight and then accidentally went in there.
I'm assuming she got on the elevator, was like, oh shit, she's gonna shoot me. I might as well take us both down.
Yes, she's like, if I go down, she's gonna go down too, and everybody's gonna be fine. But then realized,
whoops,
Ellie's the one of legend, like the immune chick. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, so I think Nora knew that she was kind of like cornered, and then when she saw Tubi, it was either get shot violently or take the fucking risk and have her at least die too.
Yeah, right. Okay, because she didn't know what she was walking into.
Yeah, like she didn't think, she thought Ellie was just some random ass person out for revenge. Like, nah, this is why,
right. That she was just gonna follow her in there blindly and just die with her. Yeah, okay,
absolutely.
You dragged the apocalyptic unicorn down there. You're
right. That's a good way of explaining it. I like
the apocalyptic unicorn.
Funny. Good.
I do want to talk about Jesse's involvement though, and the scars and what we saw. So one, props to Jesse and Tommy, because they would have been fucked if Jesse did not show up, because Ellie was currently getting demolished by them. Like, she was getting hit, she was getting roughed around.
Yep, she was getting, like we were talking earlier, just because you're immune to a bite doesn't mean you can't get ripped apart.
Yeah.
She was getting ripped apart, and I think that's probably going to come back into play in the future, because Jess even asked, "Did you get bit?" And Dina's like, "No, I saw it. Like, nah, she's fine."
And
they're ripping the fence off
so far away. It was like, how do you know you weren't right next to her?
It's like you were literally in a cage.
You're
like 20 yards away,
ripping the ceiling off,
and it's dark as fuck. How are you gonna tell me? Like,
Jesse hit all of them with that gun from that distance. He can see very well.
I like that when he saved them, there was almost, Ellie thought it was Joel at first, because it was the same silhouette, same build, same almost jacket, like it was cool. Like, the whole episode, we were almost getting teased that Joel was going to show up, and then he inevitably did at the end, which was fucking cool, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Wasn't enough time though.
He's pissed, bro. He's pissed.
He is.
And I think he knows that Dina's pregnant. I think he knows, and that's why he's so pissed too, because I think, well, actually, no, he doesn't, because she found out for sure at the pharmacy. Never mind.
I think he's just mad that Ellie's on this killer rampage and dragging her along.
Yeah, he's pissed about it.
So here's my question too, is I kind of couldn't tell, was he close enough this whole time to always be their backup and just still letting them go and do this? Or was he really that far behind them?
He was that far behind.
Yeah, because when he got to the first place,
but it was just the fact of he almost kind of gave that, like, I was letting you do this on your own. I had to come save your ass. I don't know. I almost kind of caught that vibe. I was like, well, no, maybe he was just that far behind though.
Yeah.
When he got to that, I forgot where they were, the last episode.
Theater.
He said he got there and he found the map they had left. So he was a little behind them.
Oh,
I'm assuming maybe he saw her leave.
That
someone said something.
Good point. Okay, that's right. I do remember him saying that when he was like good triangulating or something like that. But because he was like she was like, that wasn't me, that was her. And he's like, yeah, I know. Like, basically calling her stupid.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not even playing into your jokes. You're an idiot.
Yeah, like, and I love that we're getting that rift. I loved like the fucking TV drama between people, because it just gives so much more of a story. Like, I know they had a solid broship, but I genuinely felt like, oh my god, like, I felt kind of hurt by it when he was like, do I really look like I want to fucking talk to you right now? I was just like,
yeah, right.
Fuck. Like, fuck, dude. Like, Jesse's one of the nicest dudes, but the fact that he's genuinely just like so fed up where he's just like, do I really look like I want to fucking talk to you right now? I was like, dude, I feel hurt by that.
Oh, I just realized something. If you think about it, he might blame her for Joel, because wasn't it her and Dina who ran off to do stuff, and it made it so Joel had to go out and find them?
Oh,
am I right? Right?
That, I think you're right. Well, I mean, as far as the scenario, and that could also be a very big possibility. Okay.
No, I think Joel went out an hour before fucking Ellie even woke up, and that's why he was out, and she went to go find Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah. She went to go find him because they left an hour ago.
Joel ended up with Abby.
Yes, ended up with Abby, and Dina was just there with him because Ellie wasn't awake.
Yeah, I forgot.
Right. Only seen it once.
Dude, that episode traumatized the fuck out of me, so I remember every fucking detail of that episode, bro. Like, it was awful. But like seeing his involvement in how his prominence is gonna really grow over this season, next season, he becomes like a main reoccurring character, and the actor they got to play Jesse is phenomenal. I don't know if you've ever seen the Netflix show Beef with Steven Yeun. He played Glenn in The Walking Dead. He plays his brother in that show. Phenomenal fucking actor.
Okay.
I was hyped when they cast him as Jesse. He's gonna have.
He looks just like the game too,
dude. Well, I mean, we all look alike.
Yeah.
I mean, are you surprised?
I don't want to be the one to say it.
Like, dude, like we're literally yeah. He could be my brother. But yeah, no, like he's gonna become a massive fucking character. I'm really excited
We'll
that
see,
like
what they did to Joel. Who knows how long he's got.
But speaking of In the Name of God, I'm gonna take away from Jesse real quick because I want to talk about the scars. Feel her love, culty, fucking higher power entity.
I'm missing something. What scars are we talking about?
The Seraphites, the one that did the ritual in the woods.
I thought you were saying the cannibal
psycho Amish
religion.
Their versions of the Amish is what they were saying.
I have never seen an Amish guy hang a guy and slit his stomach open.
Dude, I was going to talk about that. That shit was fucking wild.
Insane. Like, just either hang him or cut him up and pick one.
Bro, and it was just so butter smooth. I was like, oh God, oh God. That was so gross.
Probably ate him after.
Probably.
Dude, can we just talk about how terrifying that whole scene was? Because like they were obviously running out of the big building where they met the stalkers. Jesse and everybody was getting shot up by wolves, and they run into this forest to take cover. And the wolves don't go in and said, we can't go in there. And I'm like wondering, like, what the fuck?
I thought it was like clickers and all that.
And then I heard the whistling. And I was just like, okay, that's their territory. Yep. So I'm like, we are fucked. But then I remembered the trailers, and I remembered that scene of that Seraphite like running through like the forest and everything with his torch. That ended up showing up in the episode. Imagine being surrounded by people that talk through fucking whistle code, that don't believe in like, survival on the level that you and I do, that go to the very beginning of time and worshiping a fucking entity that just died like a year or something ago, like super recently. And they're like a cult praying to this higher entity, and they're doing fucking crazy shit. I don't even know do you know who started the whole war between the wolves and the scars?
I don't.
It's crazy that it's pretty even right now, and these guys have bows and arrows.
Right.
Like you need to train your shooters, because first off, you had 3 people wide open and you couldn't even hit one of them. This guy hit him with an arrow in a pitch black woods.
Right.
Yeah. They are built different. Like we kind of got an idea of like who they were in a past episode. I forget which episode, maybe episode 3.
I think
and we got Jeffrey Wright, interrogating one of them, and you clearly know that they are like for the fucking cause, because like he was ready to get his other hand burnt and was not giving out any type of information. So it's like, what kind of power does this cult hold on you, where you're just so devoted to this idea of something and you're literally splitting people open? And for what? You don't even know that they're wolves or not. It's so fucking mental. And it's like, where did this shit originate? Like, where did you start believing in slicing people open and hanging them out to dry?
They had to wash his sins out.
That's wild. That's gnarly. I'm not gonna lie. That's a good one.
Like, why? Like where did this come from? Like, where did this type of retaliation come from?
Yeah, I don't too by giving him a bucket. They're like, here's your bucket so you don't hang. Oh, just kidding.
Yeah, dude. See, that's just, that goes down to that, just straight psychotic.
Yeah.
Almost like not even people that think like that aren't thinking on this world, like this planet, dude. Like they have their own thing, because like you said, who thinks of that? Well, not people like us, because we're normal. Like we're pretty normal. Normal people don't do that.
And it's like, what is the proper approaching etiquette to become a Seraphite? Like, do you have to get stabbed by a fucking arrow real quick and survive it?
They all have the Glasgow Grim, the face scars that Chips has from Sons of Anarchy. That's you take the knives and
but like
initiation probably.
But how do you go about getting initiated? Because
where do you
all
sign
I've
up?
seen is they shoot and ask questions later.
Yeah.
I've never seen a friendly interaction between somebody and a Seraphite.
You're asking like how they like recruit people and or how they have like an actual like army essentially.
And without getting killed. Yeah. Like, how do you approach that situation?
Okay. Yeah.
I'd like to join your after school program. How do I sign up?
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
you clearly can't.
Maybe it's a family thing.
Maybe it's a family thing.
like you're born into it.
I mean, that is true because wasn't the dude saying he's like, I'll join you. I'll tell you everything you want. They're like, no, thanks. And it's like, well, then what's the point?
And that's something else that bothers me too about that interrogation of what he said. He's like, every day a wolf leaves to become a Seraphite, but none of the Seraphites leave to become a wolf. Like, how does one leave and become a Seraphite? Like, they never explain that, and I'm curious as fuck because what part of you wants to be a part of something not only not even farther back from medieval, but what makes you want to leave hospitals, an army, protection for something like that? Like, what is so bad about these wolves that you become so alienated from basically what's left of mankind?
They cut this guy open and hung him, but they never damaged his brain. So maybe when they come to become a Seraphite, they become an undead one. They're just like collecting dead ones.
But they would have to be with the cordyceps, though.
That's true.
Yeah, they don't just raise from the dead, unfortunately, or else that would be a kind of a sick ass fucking spin on it.
They inject them with the air.
But
inject them with the air. Okay.
I want to talk about what's up.
No, just you brought that. You just made me think like that's a really good point where it's like, dude, what's the point and like why is this a thing? Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, like they seem to be such a crucial group. It's like I'm wondering more so on the origin of them because like we know how the wolves started. Like we saw fucking Hannaran and Isaac start the whole thing when he blew up Josh Peck in the Dick Brigade. You know, like we saw him blow him up and we saw the origin of them, but we've never seen the origin of a Seraphite. You know, so it's like I have those questions.
Where's Kyle?
They can also be saying wolves leave to become us. Oh, we're friendly. We will accept you, just for them to try and come join them. And like, yeah, no, we kill all of you.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a good point too. But I think that it's just more so now I'm almost like where Rage is, where it's like, then how are there so many of them? It's almost like Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club. Well, then how are there so many people at Fight Club? Like,
exactly,
it's true.
Type thing. But damn, now I got more questions.
Their biggest thing with that guy was he was a wolf and he had sinned. Maybe they just find people who haven't sinned yet, or at least didn't show that they sinned. Like Ellie would get
you
killed.
have to be found rather than you find them. Maybe you know, like I that makes a lot.
They probably like stalk you and see the type of person and stuff you are first. I'm assuming we'll learn more about it.
My next big question is like, now we see Ellie divert the Seraphites away from Dina and Jesse. You know, Ellie's fine. We're gonna obviously talk. We already talked about and touched on what happened there. What do you guys think happened to Dina and Jesse? Because I have no fucking clue.
They ran off.
Well, right, but so here's my thing: is that I thought that too. Now I know that she's pretty resilient herself, but she was hitting the leg good, like right. I think in the upper
almost
thigh,
through.
Yeah, like that's gonna make it impossible to walk, let alone run. Wait, what did he say?
He said he actually took an arrow to the knee.
I was gonna help Ellie, but then I took an arrow to the knee.
But my thing is that even if sure, let's go. There's no way. I don't give a shit how much you've trained. You're not carrying a full-grown human and running full speed.
Plus a baby.
So for the chances of them because I wondered that too. Where did they go? Because we focused so much on Ellie right there at the end.
Well, they could have.
There was no answer.
It didn't really show if they ran the same direction as Ellie. She could have led them like an opposite way.
Right, but I thought there was like 2 or 3 groups, like only one group.
Oh, they broke off.
I thought so, because that's where I was like, well, fuck, what happened to them? Because I didn't know if maybe Ellie did try to get their attention and get them all, but I couldn't remember if they did or not.
Yeah.
I know that when she went to leave, they ran off, and like that was like kind of it for them. And instead, what was interesting, and I wonder if this is going to come back to bite her at all, but when Ellie was trying to divert them, she decided to go to the hospital instead. It's like she didn't even decide to go meet up with them
Yeah, she saw
make
the
sure
way
she was
in.
okay. She found a way in instead and decided to big dick it. So I'm like,
as usual.
I wonder if that's going to come back to bite her. Like, because like I wonder if this is where Tommy gets involved now. Like he finds the
Also,
hospital and
where
somehow.
is Tommy?
I
know
he
him
said
and
that they
Jesse
split.
they didn't go the same way. So
I,
where did
I
he
don't.
go?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I think he
They
said
didn't
that
stay where he
Tommy
went?
they split up when they got to the city and that they were going to rendezvous in the morning, but we still have no idea like where Tommy is or like what his whereabouts or like his MO is or like where he's looking. But I wonder if that's going to come back to bite Ellie because that causes for fucking deep concern, man. Really deep concern.
Like if what happens to Jesse happens because Ellie didn't come back to them, now Dina and her are gonna have some kind of issue.
Yeah. So now that we've basically kind of like covered the whole episode, like I kind of want to like dive into like what we can possibly expect for episode 6 because I know that like at the very end of the episode after, Ellie's beating the holy fucking hell out of Nora with that pipe and she's hitting her in the fucking leg. So she's starting from the bottom and getting all the way to the top.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, was she starting with her legs?
It looked like she was pretty much mirroring what Abby did to Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. It was just the fact of two things. One, she went hammer. Two, the fact that it was almost, Kyle's talked about this before, almost worse not seeing it and hearing most of it and just kind of like the silhouettes and whatnot. Because you were saying something about a more gruesome death in the future. I'm wondering how HBO in the series is going to take with showing certain things.
So, have you ever seen Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah.
Then you should know HBO is not going to censor shit.
Well, right. I was just saying, like, as far as this being, I mean,
far
that
can
was
they
Game
go?
of Thrones. This is, I mean, I understand that it's still kind of the same concept, but this is like a quote game. You know what I mean? So I didn't know if they were going to take it to that extent.
Do you remember the chick that put Dina out when they were going to kill Joel? And she was like, "You better put her out, or I'm going to fucking, basically
the one
bash her."
who's like doesn't want to be there.
The one who did not want to fucking be there. Like she was just like, maybe guys, we should just fucking go. Like she did not want to be there.
Oh yeah.
That chick, you find out later on in the games, is pregnant as fuck. Like showing like clearly pregnant. Ellie brutally kills her, bro. Ellie brutally kills her and finds out after the fact that she's pregnant as fuck. Yeah, and that's what makes her question everything.
Okay, some things are coming back to me now with even Kyle talking to me or me remembering something. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, by the way, spoilers, guys.
Yeah, this is a spoiler talk. It's a spoiler show. It's a spoiler show. Yeah, so there is a lot more gruesome shit. They actually pulled one of Ellie's kills from the game very quickly in the episode where they, I think it was episode 4, where they went into the TV station. You saw the bodies hanging. When they went to go up the stairs and they were gonna leave out of the window, the guy that came up that Ellie like attacked from behind and fucking Dina like saved her from. One of the kills that she actually does in the game that's brutal as fuck, but they did it really quick in it. She stabbed him in the neck and slit his fucking throat. You're gonna see that straight up through one of the people she does it to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh man. See, I remember Kyle talking about that too. So interesting. All right. This is gonna be cool because again, when Kyle and I were watching season 1, he would say things like, "Oh, dude, that's directly from the game or whatever," and he'd be like, "They did so well with the look or like everything." But that's okay. All right, cool. I'm down.
And we're also in for a treat because like people are going to or better shut the fuck up when it comes to Bella Ramsey, dude. Because I don't know if you saw, but there's a clip going around of her while she was like training to be a part of this season of The Last of Us. Not only did she fucking get kind of chiseled out for this season, the fucking choreography with the gunfight, dude. She pulls out some John Wick level fucking. She's doing center lock axis. She's fucking running with someone's head and shooting them repeatedly. She's fucking doing crazy fucking like takedowns and shit. Like, dude, we are gonna be eating with Bella Ramsey, dude. Like, she was the star of this fucking episode, man. And I've noticed that slowly that is becoming like a reoccurring thing. She is just so fucking good, dude. Like, she's so good.
She definitely is. And I really enjoy the fact that we do get a lot of action in these episodes. We have had some slow ones, but like you were saying, like things that are about to come, with future episodes or what we've done already, these games, you know, a lot of times you can beef them up because it's a video game. Like, again, trying to put this into a show, I mean, you've got to actually choreograph all this stuff and put it together, and the person has to execute it right. You know, this isn't just pixels on a screen that you can move with a joystick.
Yeah, it's like you have to put in the fucking work. You have to go into like the fucking training areas, and it's like you could do the fucking lazy thing and get a stunt person, you know, do a bunch of like certain angles, do some fucking, you know, face plastering on someone to make them look like the character, but even AI. But at the same time, it's like, dude, there's nothing better than someone that genuinely puts in the work that you never expected them to do crazy shit, and all of a sudden you're fucking rooting for them.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's so good. And now getting to like the end of like the episode, she's beating the holy fuck out of Nora. And I don't know if she gets the answers out of her beforehand. I'm assuming she does. She wakes up, and I was kind of confused. I'm like, did
that threw me off.
Find her? I was like, did somebody fucking find her down there? Did like she leave the hospital and we're just getting a time jump to her waking up somewhere? But then I noticed immediately where she was the moment it like showed her laying down, like, and it showed her bed a little bit.
Yeah.
I noticed that we were gonna get that same shot of her laying down in her bed when she opened the door in episode 2 after Joel died and saw her empty fucking bed frame. And we got that same shot, but this time it was Joel opening the door and being like, "Hey, kiddo." And she was like, "Hey." And then it just ended. Dog, when I tell you in that 5 seconds he was on screen, I cried. I cried. I fucking cried because
he's alive.
Because I'm like, it was such a perfect bookend to a fucking rather violent episode. And now,
like, calm down a little bit.
Like now we're getting like almost like a little bit of relief in a way, because next episode, I don't know if you guys watched like on the next episode of The Last of Us after like the making. I watched it. It is an entire Pedro episode. Him and Bella Ramsey are back like on the road and shit, and we're getting the heartbreaking scene where he admits to her what he did, and
which doesn't care now.
Yeah, like we're getting that scene where he admits what he did to save her. Basically, like he's going to admit to Marlene. He's admitting to killing the entire Firefly base. He's admitting to basically all of his sins in this next episode. But we're also
when it's coming
next episode. Yeah, because there's next episode, and I think there's only one more after. We're getting 7 episodes.
Right?
Now we're getting a third and final. Like that's going to be the third season, right? We're getting
going to be 4 seasons.
We're getting 4.
4?
Yeah,
we're getting 4.
Hey,
so
now let's talk a little bit before we end here. Then what are we going to do about this pacing then? Because now I'm a little confused.
The way I saw it, and I've been saying it a lot in these episodes, season 1 is Ellie and Joel's story.
Right.
Season 2 is the loss of Joel and Ellie's begin to her reign of terror. I think season 3 is going to be in the perspective of Abby, because half of game 2 rather was Abby's perspective.
Right.
He plays her a lot.
Right.
So I think it's going to be her whole perspective in season 3. Season 4 is going to be the fucking bitter end in the whole arc between her and Abby. Yep. So I think that's how it's going to be paced.
Yeah, I can see them doing a whole season of her back, like Abby's backstory, how she started,
and what happened after Joel.
Are we only going to get 7 episodes for the next 2, or is it just this season? Because I thought we were getting 10.
I think this season was brought down to 7 episodes because of Pedro Pascal's availability. He was only on set for 2 full weeks. That was it. So all of the scenes that you see him filming in this next episode was filmed in 2 weeks, along with his death, the first episode, everything. They batch recorded all of his episodes.
Damn, because of like scheduling?
Yeah, he spent 2 weeks on Last of Us and immediately had to go to LA for Fantastic Four. Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. He was was scheduling. Yep. So he was only there for 2 weeks. It worked out, and he was able to go to do Fantastic Four. I did hear that he did sign for season 3 for the dream sequences, more flashbacks, and like kind of like nightmare, like what ifs, kind of. So
people were like, "Oh, amazing!" I'm like, I'm thinking, guys, you know, there's going to be flashbacks. You know, there's going to be things like there's always, not even just in this, always in stuff like this.
Oh yeah.
I think I saw it in an interview where Joel was talking about, or Pedro Pascal was talking about, when he tried to, I can't think of the word, but when he acted to become Joel,
auditioned.
That's the word.
Yeah.
He's like, they pretty much made sure and set it in stone that, don't worry, we'll kill you off before you have to do your other project. He's like, all right, good, I'll do it.
Oh shit. Okay. Interesting.
I've noticed that where Pedro is a phenomenal actor, I've noticed that he's a very part-time actor. I've noticed that in a lot of his big roles, he's only there shortly. Like, for example, The Mandalorian, he's mostly voice work. He's not in the suit 90% of the time. Yeah.
See, I thought it was the opposite. I thought he was, and that's why what was it that he was doing?
Yeah, he was doing during Mandalorian. I think he was filming a Nick Cage movie, the fucking unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yeah, but there was something about, I swear there was it Mandalorian where he was like, nah, man, I don't want to do this because the last time this happened, all I got was my voice or something. I swear that was him. Anyways.
But yeah, he was there for like when he had to unmask, he was in the role. What you can know it's Pedro Pascal when he's in the suit for one thing. He does it in The Last of Us too. You can actually notice this about him in all of his movies. When he's standing, he always he stands where one leg is like folded. Like whenever he has one leg straight down, the other one's kind of like propping him up. So it's kind of like a slutty knee. Like whenever someone's standing with that slutty knee, you know it's Pedro. It's Pedro because he does it in The Last of Us all the fucking time. You'll see it in the next episode too.
Okay,
you had it in Game of Thrones for a little bit till he got his.
But yeah, half the time he's not even in the suit and he's just providing the voice, so it allows him to do other projects while he's doing The Mandalorian. Yeah.
Oh shit.
I still need to catch up to that.
Yeah. So, for example, Tom Holland will not be in the majority of Avengers Doomsday because he was filming The Odyssey with Chris Nolan, but he's lending his voice there.
Really?
All of it is not. Tom Holland is 100% not in Doomsday, and he's masked up the entire time. Yep. Because he is filming The Odyssey, so he lent his voice.
Shit.
And with the new Spider-Man movie, he's going to be more masked up. Peter Parker's taking a back seat. Spider-Man is going to be like the main focus of his next movie. Is
now,
like he's having an identity
in that one though, like him.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He starts filming in July. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He starts filming the new one in July. But yeah, like Pedro Pascal, man, like having him back and going through this next episode where they're going to be going through like a whole like hurtful arc. Like, what do you think this thing that she did to Nora is going to have as an impact on her psyche? Do you think like she's going to lose herself in it? Do you think that she has this like kind of handled? Like, do you think that there's going to be enough of her to salvage like who she is after all of this is done?
Ooh.
I think when she's with Dina, she gets more vulnerable. Without her, she can have this like cement wall that she can do whatever. So she did this without Dina. I think as soon as she gets to Dina, she's like, I fucked up.
Oh, you're cooking. Fuck. I didn't even read.
Yeah.
That's a good point. No, that's I was almost maybe gonna kind of say the same thing where it's like she can almost do both, where she can control it but still almost indulge a little bit. Like I don't know, but see, I go back and forth with the whole thing where like she still had to be rescued and like all this stuff. How many times has she been bitten because she's really not ready? Like you said, she shoots first and runs later, or whatever it is. Yeah. So it's like, can she control this? You're absolutely right. That's a really good question, man. Like, how is this going to go? Because she is basically a loose cannon.
100%. I do think some people will die because of her choices, and that might start to take a toll on her.
That's a good point.
I wonder who though. Like I know obviously the obvious that we just talked about Jesse. I'm
assuming Tommy's gonna somehow be her fault.
I wonder if Tommy's gonna bite it in the show because that's my questions. Like, is Tommy gonna survive all of this? Because in the games he does, but Maria, his wife, leaves him. He ends up alone and just hell bent on fucking revenge. Like he wants Abby fucking dead by the end of this shit. Like he is like, nah, she's dying. Like, I wonder if they're going to go another route and just kill him off entirely. Like, I wonder if they're going to fucking
maybe they switch the storyline instead of Jesse. It's Tommy, at least earlier.
But that's going to hinder the ending of the game, though. So I wonder if they're going to do that.
And the people who play the games won't know what's coming now. It kind of pulls them back in.
Fuck, that is a good fucking point.
But I mean, I think that I guess that's the thing too, is keeping still good plot points. How much can or should they change up too? As far as keeping that's almost like getting to the point where they're like, yeah, this movie's good, but the book was better. A lot of times they always say the book was better, but I'm finding that with this especially, they're like, no, they're keeping a lot of switching a few things that don't
like minor details
don't matter, but that don't matter.
Like it doesn't hinder the events.
Yeah, like something about like they were in Pittsburgh instead of Seattle or whatever, or something like or Baltimore, something like that.
Yeah.
But like that, like you said, doesn't hinder the actual storyline. Dina and Tommy switching places, like you said, doesn't really make a huge difference either.
It added to it.
Right. So again, I don't, that's almost like, man, that could be cool, but should they, if they switch something up like that? That might make it worse. I don't know.
So, like, what do you think Dina's injury is going to do to, like, do you think it's going to hinder things? Like, not even just in terms of, like, the pacing of the journey, but, like, do you think that it's going to start hindering at relationships? Like, with Jesse, is it going to make things worse now that Dina's fucking injured,
Jesse was already mad,
and on this, and that she's on this fucking whole escapade in general?
But how do we know the scars don't do something to the arrows?
Yeah, like, how do you know that they're not fucking poisoned? Exactly.
Yeah,
like, how do you know that they're laced with some shit, Like, do you think that...
I mean, their camp is right next to the hospital door that leads to that little infected basement. So they might already know about the airborne and use it against people. That's why I'm saying they might turn people.
Damn, could it start another war? Like, could it start another war with the wolves and the Seraphites now that, like, she led them to the hospital? Fuck!
The Seraphites remind me of the Whisperers.
They do.
Yeah, they do. They're like blending in with the environment, maybe using it.
Oh, fuck.
I actually know. I know vaguely what you're talking about from Walking Dead. I'm assuming. Yeah. I caught some of those episodes in that season.
Yeah, where they wear the on their face
with like alpha, whatever it was. But yeah, dude, that's a good insight, man. Like that's a good, different like approach to it, because there was almost always something there with somebody weaponizing this whole infected. Like you would think like somebody would have figured it out to have it their advantage.
And who better than the people who live with them in the woods?
And who better than fucking Ellie?
Well, right. Again, it almost would have to be somebody like her, because taking the risk of getting bit or getting infected, who wants to do that?
Yeah.
Like who wants to do that? Like I wouldn't.
I'm a fantasy book a scene real quick. Could you imagine some crazy fucking shit where Ellie's going after, say, the Spanish dude that fucking broke her fucking ribs, that's from Marvel, that's playing the new Falcon. Fucking, can you imagine if there's like a fight between them and a fucking clicker comes out of nowhere and he tries to like fucking bet, like he
she's just like, watch this.
She fucking takes it, lets it bite her, takes the fucking head back and just shoves it in his fucking face, dude. That would be fucking insane.
Or if you could find some way to just like come running at a horde and just like have this like swarm behind her following her like the master, like you know what I mean? I don't know, but that would be, I would try something, dude, if I was
when she turned to get the lead pipe at first, I thought she was turning to like pull one of those guys off the wall.
I kind of wasn't sure what was gonna happen either. She's gonna grab something
at some point. Someone's getting fed.
There's so many cool fucking ways we could have gone with this, dude. Like there's so many
there's
cool
still time.
There's still time. Exactly, dude. Like, and if they don't do it, I'm writing a fucking letter to HBO, Craig Mazin. I don't give a fuck. Take the idea, but you need to have them do this shit. Like,
I like the idea you brought up earlier of her taking Nora and releasing her up in the top of the house.
and like fucking dragging her up the stairs and just having her fucking go at them.
Because some of them are still kind of human, like, so they'll be like, "Oh, are you okay?" And then just rips them apart.
Stalker, like the first beginning stages of a stalker, where she's still like, she looks a little sick, but like still herself, but just goes at him. Dude, I'd fucking lose my shit.
Then again, her legs are probably.
What do you think Jesse's role is going forward in this whole thing? Like, what role is he gonna play?
Well,
not dad.
Well, yeah, I mean that's but in the fact of isn't he supposed to, kick it here?
I actually don't know when.
Right. Yeah. So I don't remember either, but I don't know when either. I remembered that too. So
I thought it was coming today. I thought he was gonna get it. And run away.
But see, like as far as the role, I think that you would think, okay, they're gonna make it back. They're gonna make it back to base, and then he's just gonna play dad basically, and just stay low. Because after all of that, he ain't trying to go back out. He's not trying to be. I think the role he would want to play and or do is just lay low. He doesn't want to be a hero.
Yeah,
I don't feel like.
I don't think so either.
It's just like, I want to stay home and just leave me alone.
He fights when need to. He doesn't go out looking for it.
I do think he's gonna dig into more like, Ellie, I think you got bit. Why aren't you turning?
Sure.
I think that's gonna
Does
happen.
Ellie shoot him in the back of the head before he can tell people?
That'd be fucking awesome. I'm not sure how long it lasts. Like, I don't even know if he'll make it back to Tommy. Like, I don't even know, because there's a scene where Ellie and Dina are about to get kind of busy and Jesse walks in. So like there's that still needs to happen. So I'm like, if
they still haven't even showed Jesse getting to the house where Pedro died. Like they showed him walking up to it, never showed him in there.
I think they might, and I think that might come back to bite him if they do it. But I think that it was kind of intended that, obviously he found everybody, got everybody on the horses, packed up Pedro and bounced. Like, I think he didn't want to stick around and
dragged his ass through the snow instead of just throwing him on the back of the horse.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. But at the same time, Dina was also in no fucking shape to bring anybody on her horse, even have him lay across. So the final question that I have for you guys.
Dina must have been pregnant when she got like drugged, because she's not just gonna be pregnant after that.
No, because there was a 3-month there was a 3-month time jump in between.
Oh, that was after. Okay.
Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, wait a minute. Okay.
Now there was a 3-month time jump in between, because Ellie was like, you can go back to Jesse, and she's like, already did, and that kind of sealed the deal that she was pregnant with Jesse's kid.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
In that 3-month time jump, she went back to Jesse while Ellie was in the hospital, because I'm assuming she needed comfort and things happen, and
Funny bitch.
Calling her Lori.
Lori. So the last question I have for you guys is, will the group will they encounter Abby soon? Like, and when that happens, how is it going to happen, and what do you think is going to happen during that confrontation? And who's going to catch her first?
I think it's going to be the cliffhanger of season 2.
Okay.
I just, as far as like how, not really sure yet, because is it still, is she in the building still, all this stuff? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't even know how it plays out in the actual game. But I think that, yes, we are going to get to her at, like, literally she's going to say her name or turn around or something, and it's going to be credits. Basically.
Like, it's going to be like happenstance, where it's like it just happened. Like, it wasn't like this huge buildup. Like, she like randomly ran into her.
Kinda. Yeah. Where it's just like, and it's going to be one of those like, oh shit. And then we're going to be like, motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and then credits roll. Wait for season 3 for another 2 fucking years.
Exactly. 2 years.
Yeah.
Really? 2 years?
Yeah.
You just ruined Eric's day.
I'll quit. I'll quit.
just put game 3 out. I want to know what happens.
Yeah. But
all right.
I don't even know what's gonna happen, because you have 3 groups kind of fighting.
Yeah.
So I don't know if somehow, technically 4 if you count the undead, whatever you call them. Are 2 of them going to join together? And then I think Jesse is going to find Abby, and that's where he's going to pew.
Really?
And Dina's probably going to be there again.
That would be a remix from how it happens in the games, because it happens randomly to Jesse. Like, I think they're either chilling or they're just running, and he just bites
That's why I thought he was dying, because they left the hospital and he ran and said, "Keep your head down the street." I was like, he's getting popped here.
That was a foreshadowing moment.
Yeah, and then he did it in the woods again. I was like, he's taking an arrow to the head right now. And
like, they are foreshadowing it heavy. So I'm like, he's gonna bite it randomly, or it's gonna be a
throw you off. Like, oh, I know that's gonna happen, and then he's not dead. Dina's dead.
And the saddest thing about Jesse's death, from what I think I can remember, and I could totally be fucking wrong here, I think that his death is so quick they have to kind of just brush it off. Like, it's sad. Like, I think they just kind of have to brush it off, because everything is happening so quick. And there's not, like, in the moment, I don't know, because like I've only seen so much of like the second game. I don't know if they ever touch back on it again, other than obviously after like like the baby's born, and it's been some time in the future. I don't know if there's any like mourning period there. Like, I think it happens so quick where it's just like they have no choice but to kind of brush it off and just keep going. So that's kind of like hard to reel in there. But
no, that's very unfortunate, because when you have to, it's almost like that was part of the story, like as far as the game, but there was still so much more of the game. Like you said, they had to just brush right by it, but like they still wanted it in there for some reason.
Yeah,
because if he was that kind of detrimental to the storyline and stuff, you would think there would be a little bit more to it then. You know, as far as like, you know, oh well, he just cut, like you said, cut an arrow to the head, gotta go. Like,
yeah.
But
we'll name the kid Jesse. It's fine.
But the thing is, too, is if they're trying to go for that, everything was just such chaos and things happened and they just had to keep going, then I guess maybe I can kind of understand. But at the same time, it just kind of sounds like maybe it was just rushed or something, is it the way you were explaining it? But see, again, I don't remember it in the game and how it happened.
No, I think what Ben's saying is the death happens in like chaos.
Yeah.
So they can't really stop and like acknowledge it.
Yeah.
So that's why I was wondering if it was maybe just because of that, or if it was just like storyline was like, well, just leave him.
No, it was like a rush of chaos. Like things were happening fast, and like he bit it amidst everything going on.
Okay, I got you.
But
well, that's very unfortunate.
I kind of hope we get a red wedding kind of episode. I just don't know who I want in it.
I
you're
think
dead, you're dead.
So I think we are getting that because when the chick that didn't want to be there bites it, there is multiple people that Ellie puts down. So and it's people that were a part of that. Yeah. So it's multiple people in one room she puts down, and it's mostly hand to hand. Like she fucks them up, bro, and it's bad.
Isn't that around the same time? Because the dude that gets with the neck and stuff, something about, I swear, I'm probably not right though, but like he's like sitting on like the pavement thing and like listening to like a set of headphones or something like that. He was like, I thought he was like just, or like maybe he was on watch, but it was just one of those. I remember Kyle talking about when she was going through and that dude bites it, where she's like, you just stick it in his neck and just start coming back. I'm like,
I think that's what happens. Yeah. I think that's where it happens, like leading up to that moment.
That's what I was saying. I thought there was like a bunch of shit that happened like directly after that.
Yeah,
I just hope, you know how when someone's listening to headphones, they vaguely play the music so you can hear it. Please be token. Just mix two together and create this massive fan base. You just hear, please hold the eclipse and go.
hold this bitch. Clink.
Finally, sleep.
Finally sleep.
Before we cover the episode, though, is there anything else you guys want to touch on?
No, I think I was pretty much good.
We pretty much got the whole episode.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, that was episode 5 of the podcast for the post-show talk show for Last of Us Season 2. Eric, thank you so much for joining us tonight, man, and giving us some of your time to kind of digest everything that happened this episode, man.
Absolutely.
Guys, if you are not following these gents on social media now, all of their links will be down in the description box down below, along with mine. And for all of us that have stores and everything, all of those links and fun jazz will also be down below. Eric is wearing the Operation Burnout shirt, which happens to be a very high seller on the store. So be sure to pick your shit up today. So guys, like always, be safe, stay safe. We'll see you guys in the next one for episode 6, and then the finale, episode 7, coming in a couple weeks. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace out.
Later.